Okay, let's shift over to kind of getting inside your head and your experience as you're hiring people. So let's say Shopify, I mean, you're hiring 100 people this quarter, which is amazing. Probably a bunch of people will be going to
apply. It's amazing here. That's my plug. It's great. Come on in.
That's what we're here for.
But come on in, send me a LinkedIn. Let's go.
So yeah, speaking of that, like I think a lot of people spend a lot of time looking for jobs on LinkedIn, Indeed, and the company website. But are there other ways they could be finding out about jobs at Shopify?
You know what? There's such saturation in LinkedIn and Indeed and Google Job, and frankly, like spam, too. There's just a lot of kind of fake roles. So that is the kind of a spot. But, here at Shopify, it's like we're really want to meet candidates in different places. So for instance, we launched the Shopify UX podcast, right?
I didn't know this. Geez, got to go listen.
We just, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. We just finished our first season. We're heading to the second soon.
Awesome.
But it's sitting down for 45 minutes, having conversations like this with leaders from across Shopify about UX. And that's actually been a huge traffic source for us. We can track like those folks then to applications. And it makes candidates more qualified, more prepared, more focused. It kind of really, you're not just sending a generic resume then. You've taken the time to understand the language we use, the words, what's important to us. So for folks at Shopify, like the podcast is great. That's the plug. It's really fun. I really like it. And then we have an amazing UX blog. We just posted an article 2 weeks ago about how to get a UX job at Shopify there.
Oh my God, link to it.
I will. And so for candidates, like have a strong cup of coffee, go through their materials, customize your resume as best you can to fit those expectations. And that really increases the likelihood that you're going to get like good kind of quality alignment between what you want and what the company is kind of offering.
And so by customizing the resume, for example, I think when candidates hear this, they freak out a little on the inside or the outside because they think, oh gosh, that's going to take me so much time and it's going to, require me to spend 5 hours customizing each resume and cover letter and things. But my perspective is it doesn't need to take that long, and probably you're only customizing a few bits and pieces. So do you have any examples or suggestions like to kind of take this fear away from people that they need to turn it into some college level exercise every time they apply for a job?
Well, more isn't better. And if you do more, you're actually going to get less in hiring. That's really true. And so I would say if they're feeling that, then that's probably because they're doing too much and they're applying to too many jobs.
Oh,
it seems counterintuitive, but it's true. And that's why at the beginning, like figure out the values, the type of company you want to work for, make a list of 10 companies, prioritize that, prioritize your networking, prioritize your case studies. And if you kind of focus on like, I want to work e-commerce, publicly traded companies, well, then the companies it's going to be, your resumes are close, and then any kind of modifications that you need is a little kind of less administrative than if you're applying from Microsoft all the way over there.
Right.
So less, but as always, like, let's go back to Dieter Rams, like less, but better.
Yeah.
True for design and true for the application experience as well.
And, customizing the actual resume, I think to me, it's about just really connecting the dots between like maybe what people learn about the role or about Shopify in the podcast episode they listen to, and then just trying to almost like shine a spotlight on some of their skills. And, Steve Krug's book, Don't Make Me Think. That's what I tell people.
A classic.
Don't make McLean think. Do a little bit of work for him by customizing the cover letter, customizing the resume ever so slightly.
Thank you.
So it's like, you don't need to actually read every word. You read the first 2 sentences of their about, and you're like, oh, they used to like run their family's online e-commerce business.
Thank you.
That's going to be like a red flag or a green flag for you.
It's one like standout. Like on the cover, take the time. If you like, hey, I listened to the podcast. This was great. I was super interested. Like, we're going to see that.
Yeah.
We're going to see. And at the end of the day, I found, and I've probably managed hundreds, probably maybe thousands of this. So what do I know? But here you go. People perform at a company like they interview. And when you interview, you're really starting at a company. You're building your peer group. It's really setting the tone. It's not just like getting the job. It's actually how you're going to step into the company. And so if you're upbeat, positive, well prepared, that's kind of how people work too. Yeah. And so really think of it as almost like you're starting your job. And then, then you start. But I really think there's a correlation between how you interview and how people perform. And for me, I do keep an eye on that as we go through the interview process.
Yeah.
Last kind of point there is, look, and I don't say this out of bravery, I just say this for kind of sharing. So I was the VP of design at Shutterstock when I was 30 years old, right? It's pretty young. Yeah. Pretty young to be. I reported directly to the CEO of a publicly traded company. Oh. I can promise you I wasn't qualified for that. I wasn't. But one thing I did to get that job is because I definitely wasn't the front runner going in. Mm-hmm. I really wasn't. You got to bring something different to the table, And so what I did was they gave me a design exercise, but I kind of colored outside the lines and stitched together this new concept of a creative cart that would help with asset management. And really kind of colored outside the lines a little bit during the process. And that gave me the space to show kind of where I could go and the potential I did have. And so for anyone, if you feel like this is a dream job, or if you're kind of right there where you need to be, take the weekend, go headphones on, redesign their careers page. That's the kind of stuff that gets you big jobs, gets you really exciting jobs. And it sets you off on such a great note. And so it might be hard to get out of your comfort zone there, or, my fault, this is design. Let's go. Put yourself in there, put your best foot forward. That was a really, really helpful way to kind of get a job that might be a stretch opportunity at times.